So we're here in Eileen Schaer's studio here in Laxey on the 1st of October 2014. And Eileen, can you please tell me the story of your life as an artist, focusing on your experience of using, renting, owning studio premises?
I started painting in 1970. I was always interested in art at school, and I met my late husband David Fletcher when he was at Liverpool College of Art, because I used to hang around at the Philharmonic and the Crack and O'Connor's pubs in Liverpool, and my school was just down the road anyway. And I met him, and after going there I had to go myself, and was quite pleased with it, and I carried on painting, and then we had an exhibition in Liverpool in Matthew Street, and somebody stole one of my paintings at the time, and it was on the Radio Merseyside News, and then after that carried on painting, and David got into the Royal College of Art, so we went down to London. And but I was working at the time at the Victorian Albert Museum and other places, so I just painted at night. And then I got into the Portal Gallery, showed there in Grafton Street, and showed in King's Road, Crane, Naive Art Gallery, and various exhibitions, Royal Academy summer shows. And then they finished at the Royal College, and we had two friends that lived here called Frank and Sue Woolley, and we came for a holiday here and thought, oh God, I couldn't live in like a place like this. But anyway, when we got back to London, it grew on us, and then the job came up, and Dave applied for it, and he got a job in Ballacombe High School. And then where did we live? We lived in Bradden Schoolhouse, carried on painting. Never had a studio till I came to this house, so we painted on our knees basically. And then when we went to live in Laxey, we used to, when the children went to bed, that's when we painted at night. We used to move the furniture. The wall was the easel, and then put everything away, put the couch back, and that's how we used to work. And then we moved here, and we thought, oh, we'll have the attic. So we did this though, and this is the studio I have now.
Lovely. When you were working at the V&A and you first started to paint, where were you painting then, on the kitchen table or?
We were in the hostels at the Royal College in South Kensington. No, I had an easel then. It was a bed sit, but I used to paint in the corner of the room in the evenings.
Right. You know, all the chemicals and all the paints and everything, did you have any problems with them when the children were growing up? Is that why this was put away, everything?
Oh, I always put them away, yeah. Oh, they used to paint at the same time, you know, so it was nice.
Yeah.
But we usually, if we were painting in the daytime, but we used to paint at night, and I continued to paint at night because I got into the habit, you know. Yeah. Do all my mundane tasks in the daytime, meet people, and then at night I come up here and put the radio on. This is where I do my painting.
Right. When the children were little, were there any restrictions? You know, did you paint between the school run, or did you have any timing when you used to?
In the daytimes?
Yeah, when they were small.
I did, but it's usually when I was getting the canvases together or doing, you know, things like that, or stretching the paper or whatever.
Right.
Usually that.
Yeah.
I can't concentrate if I'm in between things. When I've got everything out of the way in the day, I can concentrate, and I have to really concentrate when I do my art.
Yeah. You know, when you were talking about when David was at the college and you were working at the V&A, did you ever want to go for formal training, or did you?
I never fitted into an institution, and I don't fit into them now. No.
Did you try at the time, or did you?
I've never tried.
You've never tried.
But having said that, I was accepted at the Royal College to go there, and at Chelsea College of Art as well. But I didn't go because I think it was a financial problem then, because we had a small child.
Yeah. So it was more financial at that point. Do you feel that's held you back in any way, or you feel?
I think I prefer it really, because I have my own thoughts, my own school of thought, don't I?
Yeah.
I haven't been taught the correct way. So it's my own identity.
Yeah, and I think that's what the delight is. I think of
I
your
think
work.
so.
Yes,
I think I'm lucky I didn't go actually.
Yeah. I was talking to Brian Neal recently, and he was saying about he didn't fit into college life very well, and he felt that he.
I think we have an affinity here because he's deaf, and I'm deaf, and I think deafness can give you a good imagination. Plus, I went to a convent school till I was 18, and that also was good for my imagination.
Right. Do you feel that you didn't need the outside influences, or that because of your deafness, it just meant that you had to...
I think when you're deaf, you can be watching a film or something, and you've got your own slant on the end of the story or whatever. I just think you have a better imagination.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's all very open, isn't it, where your influences come. But I think, like Brian, very singularly, when he was in the studio space, he found it very distracting, all the other noises, once he got his hearing aid. How did you find it once you got your hearing aid? So how old were you when you got your hearing aid?
Well, I was about in my 20s. They couldn't give me them when I was younger, because they went up to it at the age time.
Yeah, that was the same as he was in his 20s, and he said it changed his perception on everything.
I listened to the radio and all that now.
Yeah, that's lovely. So do you feel that when you were working in your studios and you were alone, did you like interaction with David, or did you like interaction with other artists, or would you prefer to have worked on your own?
When I'm painting, I don't like interaction with other artists at all when I'm painting. With David, we used to share the studio. I was on that side and David was on this side. My floor's nice and clean, but David was... Yeah, and he was tidy with his paints. They were all in order, but mine are... It's funny.
It is,
yeah. But we used to paint at different times, but mainly at night.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been concerned about the light, or the natural light? You always quite happy?
It doesn't bother me at all.
It doesn't bother you, no. You know, when you and David were working together, and that, would David make a comment about your work, or was it not invited, or?
Yeah, he used to say, or something like that, yeah. Or he'd say nothing sometimes, or he'd say, oh, I'm not sure, and I used to say, I used to just leave it, you know. Yeah. I didn't used to take any notice, really.
No. Have you had any interaction with the public while you've been working? Have you ever worked where public have been accessible? Any public have been accessible, you know, they've been or when you've been able to work anywhere. You've never done a residency or anything like that where the public...
It's not my cup of tea.
No, what you're feeling, you would not like that, would you?
No, I have to be alone, really. I have to get after the first half hour. I mean, when I come up the first half hour, I just don't know what to do next. And once you get into it, you sort of enter another world, and then you know what to do, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'm not an artist, but I'm sure you know.
Well, I do anyway.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, where do your inspirations come from, do you think?
I like ethnographic art, I like medieval art, I like primitive art. I love Richard Dad. The very famous master stroke. All sorts.
Where did that first desire?
Everything I do in life, really. You know, meet nature, animals.
Where did that first manifest itself? When you were a child, did you draw and sketch when you were younger?
I was drawing when I was a child, yeah.
Yeah, and were you painting as well?
Not so much painting. Usually those wax crayons that used to smell of wax. And I never got any detail out of them.
Yeah. Would you say you were really committed as an artist when you were younger, or was it just something you drifted into? What would you say?
No, I was always doing it, and my mum used to say, "Oh, draw your brother a car," or you know. Yeah.
So when you progressed as you got older, do you think you were going to be an artist? Is that were you? I'm trying to get whether you were focused on that's what you wanted to be, or whether you drifted into it.
I was always around the artists' quarter in Liverpool. I was just always my great uncle was an artist, a stained glass window artist, and he went to the Bauhaus at Weimar in Germany, and he had a Bauhaus house built. And so it might come from him, I don't know. He was friends with Paul Klee and people like that, and maybe it comes from him. My granddad from Switzerland was very creative. He was a chef taught by Scoffier in Paris, and you know, so maybe it comes from that part of the family. Yeah.
Do you think the atmosphere in Liverpool was a contribution as well at that time? Was it quite
it was like the European capital of culture when
Yeah, that period when you were growing up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So did you run into artists all the time, or was it you ran into artists all the time, or did you go and seek them out? Would you say?
I knew a lot of people at the art college. I knew Adrian Henry and Roger McGough, and they were all performing at the O'Connor's pub in Liverpool. Yeah, I was there at that time, really, in Brian Patton and all those people.
Right, and were you with David at that time? Was it where you met him? Yeah. And
before and while I was
Yeah. And do you think being partner to an artist, do you think that helped, or was that a hindrance, do you think?
It helped me because he took me into, you know, art establishments and the Royal College and all that, you know.
So the circle you went helped your career as well, would you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Must have done,
yeah. Okay. So did you have parental support when you were going into art when you were younger? Did they support you in that?
No, Mum and Dad were always very busy at work, and yeah, they loved me painting and they were proud and stuff, especially when I had exhibitions and things. But I think they were too busy trying to earn a living, really.
Yeah. But there was no influence from them for you to make a living. Were they quite happy with you? You know, because it's very difficult, isn't it, at the beginning trying to make a living.
Oh yeah.
But they were supportive.
They never thought of it like that. No.
They were really supportive.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
But not telling me to do this and do that.
Yeah.
They were happy. I was happy.
You know, when it becomes affordable, did you or David have trouble trying to afford a studio when you were in London, or was it part of the...
Dave went into the Royal College each day and painted there, and I went to work, and then I painted when I put Kim to bed.
Right, so it's just in your studio, in your little flat
it was
or whatever?
In the bedsit.
In the bedsit, yeah.
I haven't said that, I was doing big painting.
Well, yeah. Did the size of the bedsit determine how big your paintings were at that time, or was there any restriction on what you could do because of your space?
One painting was about 4.5 foot by 3.5 foot, and the bedsit was about this size, really. But it was right in the corner.
So were you able to leave it up and go back to it, or was it a case again
I
putting
left
everything
it on
away?
the easel, but I cleared all the stuff up, you know, at night. I always did.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite tidy in here, really, except for this.
Did you find that a help that you had to start again with your paints and things again the next morning, not being able to just start again?
Evening, no.
No.
No, it became a habit.
Right, yeah. So you work in oils and acrylics, is it?
Or just acrylics and gouache.
Right, and they're okay to leave overnight to start again? Or would you mix again and
well, I put cling film over, and it stays moist for a little while.
Yeah.
But with the gouache, I do the same thing basically. Or I put them in little jars sometimes.
Right, so they last overnight.
And put a lid on.
Right. You've heard about the studios down at the harbour there, the new ones that we're doing in the market hall for the students.
Oh, yeah.
Have you got any thoughts about that? Whether you feel that would be the right situation for students, or?
Yeah, it's a lovely situation. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I just know it's a lovely building, and I love the old art college. And Dave always wanted to get that back, but unfortunately it wasn't possible. But I think the building's amazing. It's great. It's getting used as an art college.
All right. Eileen, thinking about the island, has it ever brought you any restrictions on your art being able to transport or exhibit in England, or has it been an advantage being on the island and influences?
It's been an advantage and not an advantage, because the advantage is I get all my inspiration here. The disadvantage is you can't, well you can, but you applying for competitions, you could get together and get a van together and things like that, but it doesn't happen. Sometimes the galleries don't have you because of such a distance. I don't know, things like that, and you don't have the opportunity of going into the museums across and the galleries across, and which I miss, but I go away quite a lot. And but the thing is, I'm doing it, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Has the internet helped with the availability on the internet of collections and being able to? Do you use the computer at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For the research or for just keeping up to date, or?
What with the art world?
Yeah.
Well, I go away a lot, and I'm part of magazines and things like that, so I know what's going on.
Right. So how would you use the internet then? How do you use it within your art?
Well, I've got a website. I'm getting a new one done at the moment. Yeah, I look what's going on and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you ever sell online or not? Have you ever sold any online?
Online? I've had people interested and they've come and bought. And I've had someone from Saatchi Online contacted me from Australia and asked me to exhibit in a gallery there, and I thought she was spam, and in the end she said, well, I've got someone from the island that works there, and funnily enough it was. So I said okay, so I exhibited through the internet. I've done I've been in an art magazine through the internet. I've had 2 interviews online. Yeah, That's been brilliant when I think about it.
Yeah. And what's next for Eileen Schaer?
Next one.
What's next for Eileen Schaer?
Well, I'm exhibiting next week at the Kerwin Gallery in London. It's a figures of art competition. Yeah, and Peter Blake, Anthony Green, and 2 other judges are judging it. I have judged it, so I'll be going to the private view next Tuesday.
All right. Oh well. Thank you very much indeed, Eileen. That was lovely.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.